Good morning, my name's Peggy.
And I'm Penny.
Today is September 2nd, 1945.
World War II has ended, and we're safe, but there's still much more work to be done.
Earlier this year in July, U.S. President Harry S. Truman, Churchill, and Stalin discussed the ongoing war with Japan as well as creating a peace settlement with Germany.
On September 2nd, General McDouglas Arthur, U.S., accepted Japan's formal surrender aboard the USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay.
Due to this conference, Berlin has fallen and is divided into sectors of control by Great Britain, France, USA, and the USSR. The USSR section of the city is under siege and is receiving supplies via airdrop by the U.S. Air Force.
35 million people have died, and the numbers continue to rise.
Among that 35 million people, we have 4 million Jews died by the Holocaust and the harm of the Nazis.
The Führer, Adolf Hitler, has committed suicide and is unable to stand trial. However, high-ranking Nazi officials will be tried and most likely be facing execution by the firing squad or hanging in the Nuremberg trials.
Genocide. Brand new word that's entered our language to deal with the murder of the many of European Jews killed by the Nazis. During the war, millions more have fled their homes or been forcibly moved to work in Germany or Japan, or in the case of the Soviet Union, because Stalin feared that they might be traitors. How will these people return home? Stay tuned to find out.
Isn't this a beautiful scene? Would you like to be part of this? Over 10,000 Jewish children were displaced by the tragedy of World War II. Their families have been killed by Nazi soldiers, and they have no place to go to. However, the British Committee for the Jews of Germany are happy to be able to help find these poor children homes. If you would like to be a part of this organization, please call the number at the bottom of the screen, and we will connect you with a child who is looking for adoption. Thank you.
Welcome back. I'm still Peggy.
And I'm Penny.
Now, to continue on our story about Jewish kids coming back from the Holocaust camps, many of the Jewish survivors fear to return to their former homes because of the anti-Semitism, which, hatred of Jews.
So they persisted looking for places to survive, and many of them migrated to Western fronts that were protected by the Allies. So there were a number of programs, such as our British Committee for the Jewish Germans, that helped relocate children or survivors, that really helped give them a home. Tens of thousands of Jews flooded these safe homelands and made it their home.
Just recently, the last of the German concentration camps have been destroyed and the Jews within rescued.
We now go to our on-the-scene reporter, Patty, interviewing a survivor of the German concentration camps.
Thanks, Peggy and Penny, and here I have Paul Brandwein to explain his experience in the camp. So, how long would you say were you in this concentration camp?
What year is it again?
1945.
3 years, since 1942, I think. It's been a while.
Could you describe the German soldiers?
What is there to describe but faceless monsters with guns for arms and fire for death?
How did it feel
How did what feel?
to be in the concentration camp?
Pain, mostly? Anger? Sadness. Lots of sadness when people would be murdered by those monsters.
Who do you plan on going back to?
There's no one for me to go back to. My grandmother, my father, my mother, my brother, and my sister. All of them. They all died and were sent to separate camps. There's no one left.
What do you plan on doing next, now that the war is over?
I just want to go home. I don't want revenge. I just want to go home and do what I can. Back to Poland.
We have attempted to receive answers from Russian leaders on how they plan to handle the tensions with their allies, but they appear to be stalling.
Okay, Peggy.
And I'm Penny.
And today's September 2nd, 1947. It has been 2 years since the ending of the horrific World War II.
We're here to talk more about the reparation efforts, about exactly how many were killed, about the things we couldn't really be sure of as soon as the war had been ended.
Our job here is to update you and keep you informed.
So, after World War II ended, Japan, you guys might remember them, they tried to kill us, was in very much disarray. America had dropped 2 nuclear bombs on them, and as such, their cities were in terrible order.
The remains of Japanese war machines were destroyed, and war trials were held. Over 500 military officers committed suicide right after the Japanese surrendered, and many hundreds were executed for committing war crimes. The empire at the time, Emperor Showa, was not declared a war criminal. Okay, now that the war is over, we were able to get a more accurate number of the lives that we lost. The number is about 55 to 70 million deaths.
We are heartbroken to report that our very own Paul Brandwin was among the casualties. On his way back home to Poland, his train was held up by the last few remaining Nazis in the area, and in a last act of just pure hatred was blown up.
We are saddened by this news. He did amazing on our interview, and we even donated money to him so he could start up a new life. We are donating that money to the foundation.
To help, she's so choked up. We donated the money to a foundation to help survivors of the war and really clean up the parts of Europe that were destroyed in the search of Jewishness.
We bid you farewell, and we'll see you tomorrow. Signing off, I'm Peggy.
And I'm Penny.